My girlfriend said, "Marry me by next month or we're done." I said, "Thanks for the clarity." Then I helped her pack. She didn't expect me to choose done until the whole lie web collapsed. I always thought ultimatums were something that happened to other people. The kind of stuff you read on Reddit at 2 a.m. and think, no way someone actually said that out loud. Turns out they do. And my girlfriend, 29F, said it to me, calmly, deliberately, like she was confirming a dentist appointment. But let me back up. I'm 33M. I'm not anti-marriage, never have been. If anything, I've always imagined the typical arc. Meet someone, grow together, build a life, get engaged when the foundation is stable, emotionally and financially. I'm methodical like that. Slow to commit, but steady when I do. My girlfriend, Mia, knew this. At least, I thought she did. We'd been together for a little over a year. The first 6 months were good, peaceful, even. She was smart, funny, affectionate, and had a way of making everything feel lively. But slowly, tiny cracks began showing. Nothing dramatic, just signs. She changed jobs 3 times in 8 months. She bounced between hobbies like someone switching TV channels. She kept saying things like, "We're the main characters in our story, babe." Big gestures, big milestones. That's what makes relationships real. She said it jokingly, but not really. Her mom once joked that Mia treated life like a rom-com that refused to follow her script. Mia didn't laugh. But the biggest red flag was her need for certainty. Not emotional certainty, narrative certainty. She hated ambiguity more than anything. Every disagreement became a referendum on our entire future. If I asked for space after an argument, she'd immediately jump to, "So what does this mean for us? Are you pulling away?" If I didn't text back within an hour, "Just tell me if you're losing interest so I can prepare myself." It wasn't malicious, just anxious, constantly bracing for abandonment, while simultaneously pushing everything toward a permanent commitment. And then came the weekend that shifted everything. She asked if we could have a serious talk. We went to her place, candles lit, dinner made, her dressed like she was going to propose to me. For a second, my stomach dropped. I thought maybe she was pregnant. But it wasn't that. After dessert, she took a deep breath, folded her hands, and said, "Okay, I've thought about this a lot. I want to be married before I'm 30. That gives me 7 months. And I need to know you're serious about me." I stayed quiet, waiting for her to continue. She did. "So I'm giving you a choice. We get engaged next month, as in, before the 28th, or we break up. No hard feelings. I just refuse to waste time." She said it like a contract negotiation, like she was offering a deadline for a job application. My first reaction wasn't anger. It was exhaustion. I remember staring at the candle flame flickering on the table and thinking, this isn't love talking. This is fear. This is panic wearing lipstick. I didn't speak for a long time. She thought I was processing. I wasn't. I was remembering all the small moments, every red flag I had gently pushed aside because I cared about her. The impulsive job changes, the emotional pressure, the arguments that always escalated into worst-case scenarios. The way she kept describing marriage as evidence of seriousness, not the natural result of it. Eventually, she asked, "So, what do you choose?" I looked at her, really looked, and instead of anticipation, her face showed desperation disguised as confidence. Her fingers were trembling, her voice too steady to be real, and something inside me snapped into place. Not anger, not fear, clarity. I said, "Thank you." She blinked. "For what?" "For the clarity." Her smile faltered. "What does that mean?" I stood up, took a slow breath, and said the words calmly. "It means I'm choosing done." She froze like she'd been unplugged. I thought she'd yell, or cry, or storm out. But she did something worse. She laughed, a nervous, breathless, cracking laugh that made my skin crawl. You're joking, right?" I wasn't. I walked to her bedroom, opened her closet, pulled out the medium-sized suitcase she uses for weekend trips, and placed it gently on the bed. "Let's pack your things." She ran after me, grabbing my arm. "Stop. What are you doing?" I didn't mean it like that. I wasn't serious. But she was. She knew she was. And I knew too. For the first time in a year, I felt like I could breathe. As I unhooked her dresses from the closet, she was frantically trying to backpedal, negotiating with herself out loud, repeating "wait" and "hold on" like they were magic spells that could rewind the last 5 minutes. But I'd already made my decision. Mia wasn't crying. Not at first. It was more like she was buffering. Her brain couldn't process the idea that her own ultimatum had consequences she didn't control. She kept pacing behind me as I calmly folded her things. Stop. Please stop. You misunderstood me. I didn't respond. Not out of cruelty. I just had nothing left to negotiate. It was a test, she tried next. A stupid test. I wasn't really saying break up. I just wanted to know you cared. I zipped one of the inside pockets of the suitcase. If it was a test, I said quietly, you chose the wrong one. She grabbed my wrist so tightly her nails dug in. You can't just walk away over a sentence. I turned to her. It wasn't a sentence. It was a pattern. Her expression cracked, like reality was leaking in. She tried a different tactic, a softer one. Can we just talk? Not like this. Sit down with me. Please. I sat. Not because she asked, because I wanted the conversation to be fair. She sat across from me, pulling her knees up, voice shaking. I want to get married because I love you. Because you make me feel safe. Because every other part of my life is chaos, and you're the only stable thing. She said it sincerely, and that hurt worse than the ultimatum. Mia, I said, marriage can't fix chaos. It amplifies it. She swallowed hard, eyes filling. Then help me. Help me fix it. Don't leave me like this. The sad thing? Part of me genuinely wished she had said this before the ultimatum, before the power play, before turning our relationship into a countdown clock. But desperation didn't erase what she'd done. You didn't ask me to build a future with you, I said. You told me to choose between rushing into something I wasn't ready for or losing you. She put her face in her hands. I thought you'd choose me. I did, I said. Every day for a year. But today, you asked for something else. She flinched like the words physically hit her. She tried again. Fast, sharp, panicked. Okay, fine. Forget the ultimatum. Seriously, I take it back. We'll go at your pace. No deadline. No pressure. I promise. I shook my head slowly. I don't trust that. She froze. Not angry. Not crying. Just hollow. So you're really ending this, she whispered. And there it was. Acceptance. The one thing she had been fighting since the moment the words left her mouth. I helped her finish packing. She cried silently, wiping her face with her sleeves, whispering apologies that came too late. Before she left, she stood by the door, suitcase handle shaking in her grip. I didn't think you'd ever choose done. Neither did I admitted. And it was true. I watched her walk down the hallway of her apartment building, shoulders hunched, trying to make herself smaller than she'd ever been. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. Because 2 days later, the frantic text started. Please talk to me. I made a mistake. I can't eat. My mom wants to call you. Please. Just one chance. Then her best friend messaged me. Then her sister. Then her boss, weirdly. And the final blow. A long, emotional voicemail from Mia at 1:13 a.m. The kind where someone realizes, suddenly, terrifyingly, that they pushed too far and can't undo it. But the worst, or maybe the strangest, part is what came after that, because Mia didn't just apologize. She tried to rewrite the entire story. Update. The calls didn't bother me as much as the shift in her tone. It wasn't the begging anymore. It wasn't even the guilt. It was the revisionism. She started with texts like, I never gave you an ultimatum. You twisted my words. Then, I was joking. You knew that. Then she escalated. You made up the whole thing to justify breaking up. That one actually made me laugh, quietly, tiredly, because I still had the message she sent, word for word. Marry me by next month or we're done. I'm serious. I didn't respond. Ignoring her was gasoline. Because next, she showed up at my apartment. Not knocking gently. Not calling beforehand. She was pounding on the door like she wanted the whole floor to hear. When I opened it, she looked off. Hair messy, hoodie zipped wrong, eyes red like she hadn't slept. But she smiled, a weird, desperate smile. Hey, she said softly, like we were fine. Can I come in? I stepped aside but didn't move. Mia, I said, you can take your things if you forgot something, but we're not getting back together. She pushed past me and walked straight in. Oh. She looked around the apartment like she expected to find another woman inside. Then, she turned to me with tears already forming. Why are you throwing everything away? Because you tried to force my hand, I said. That's not love. She shook her head rapidly. I didn't force anything. You're making it sound worse. You're exaggerating. You always do this. There it was. Shifting blame. twisting the narrative, trying to make me feel guilty for responding to her own words. I stayed calm. Too calm, maybe. I'm not exaggerating. I'm just not accepting your terms. And then, like a switch flipped, she sobbed. Hard. She literally sank to her knees in my living room. Please, please don't do this. I'll do anything. No pressure. No deadline. No marriage talk at all. I swear. I'll go to therapy. I'll stop the tests. I'll stop the ultimatums. I'll. I'll be better. Please. And for a second, a tiny, dangerous second, I felt the pull. We always want to comfort the person we once pictured a future with. But then something happened that made the decision irreversible. She stood up, wiped her face, and said a sentence that froze my spine. If you don't come back, I'm going to tell people you pressured me into marriage. Boom. There it was. The final mask hitting the floor. It wasn't about love. It wasn't even about losing me. It was about losing control of the story. I stared at her for a long moment. Get out, I said quietly. She opened her mouth to argue. Now, and for the first time since the ultimatum, she saw something in me that scared her enough to actually listen. She left without another word. I thought that was the last escalation, but I was wrong again. The real chaos started a week later, when her friends, her family, her coworkers, and even people I barely knew started reaching out. Because Mia had told them her version. And it was wild. Final update. The thing about lies is that they don't stay contained. Not when they're emotionally charged. Not when someone's pride is bleeding. Mia's version spread fast. Too fast. Apparently, I had pressured her into marriage. Threatened to leave unless she agreed. Planned the breakup for months. Abandoned her during a tough time. And my favorite, cheated on her with someone from work. It was impressive, honestly, the creativity. If she had written novels instead of rewriting reality, she'd probably have a career. My phone lit up nonstop. Her friends, accusing. Her cousins, disappointed. Two of her co-workers, demanding I explain myself. I ignored all of it. But then her mother messaged me. I know my daughter can be impulsive. I just need the truth. Did you give her ultimatums too? That one hurt. Because she wasn't attacking me. She was asking. Gently, earnestly. So I answered. I didn't rant. I didn't attack Mia. I didn't expose the full mess. I sent a screenshot. Just one. The message from Mia that started everything. Marry me by next month or we're done. Her mother didn't reply. 2 hours later, I got another message from Mia herself. What the FK did you do? Oh, the chain reaction had begun. Apparently, after her mother confronted her, Mia doubled down instead of backing off. She tried to claim the message was taken out of context, then a joke, then her friend wrote it, then it was sarcasm, then I edited it. She kept switching versions until even she probably forgot what she had said. But here's the thing. Lies collapse under their own weight. A few of her friends quietly messaged me later. Okay, so maybe she wasn't telling the full truth. Yeah, she has done stuff like this before. Sorry for jumping on you. I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in. I just said, it's over. I don't want any more drama. Let's all move on. And for a while, things actually went silent. A peaceful, almost eerie silence. Then came the final twist. Not dramatic, not explosive, but deeply human in the saddest way. She sent me a long message. Not angry, not manipulative, just hollow. I know you hate me now. I know I went too far. But I didn't want to lose you, and I panicked. It felt like you were slipping away and I grabbed as hard as I could. I'm sorry. I sat with that for a long time. Because in that message, finally, was the truth. Not the fake one she told others. Not the desperate one she tried to force on me. Just the raw core underneath all her fear. She didn't want marriage next month. She wanted certainty. And she tried to force certainty by threatening abandonment. And when it didn't work, she tried to rewrite reality instead. But here's the thing. You can't build a relationship on fear of losing someone. Not theirs. Not yours. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to punish her, but because there was nothing left to say. There was no fix, no path back, no version of the story where we could return to anything healthy. Ultimatums don't just break trust. They change the shape of a relationship. Even if you remove the deadline, the crack stays. Months later, one of her friends told me Mia finally admitted what happened. The real story, not the one she tried to sell. Apparently, she said, I didn't think he'd actually choose done. I thought he would fight for me. That line stuck with me for a long time. Because it made something click. Some people mistake conflict for devotion. Some people think pressure equals passion. Some people think losing you is the only thing that proves you cared. I don't blame her anymore. I don't forgive her either. Forgiveness requires something to rebuild, and there's nothing here to rebuild. But I understand her now. And understanding is the last step before letting go. Life after her didn't magically get perfect. No triumphant arc. No cinematic freedom montage. Just quiet. A quiet apartment. A quiet phone. A quiet life that I'm slowly learning to fill with things that aren't panic, drama, or emotional landmines. I'm dating again, cautiously. I'm slower to trust. Slower to commit. More honest with myself about red flags, including my own. There's still a bruise where the mess happened. But it's healing. And in its place is something I didn't have before. A boundary I won't let anyone cross again. Not next month. Not ever. The ultimatum didn't get me to marry her. It got me to finally see her. And once I did, there was no going back.